The streetlights are strangled by low-hanging clouds, suffocated by a feverish fog, forming a godly glow over the heads of men who smoke cigarettes on the corner of 19th and Mission. This one's called Ghost on 17th. A man walks up to me one sunny day in the technicolored streets of the Castro district. "Hello," he says. "I just gotta say hello, man. That's what I do." The wrinkled man has a beard made of metal brush wire, the kind I use to scrape my dirty plates with, and a carabiner clip for an earring, like what rock climbers use to secure their lines. "Hey, man," I respond, choosing to reciprocate his cheerful enthusiasm. He holds a paper bag in the crook of his left arm, and with the other, he gives me a sudden hug, wrapping his arms around my shoulders. I feel the urge to step back, and I hate myself for it. So I give him a hug, and we bump heads, and I feel like he is some long-lost cousin that I ran into at the supermarket, even feeling comfortable enough to ask him, "Tell me something about this place." He stops to ponder and says, This place is a people place. You remember the people you meet. You see, I don't drink liquor," he points to the crumpled paper bag. "I drink people." This one's titled Sunset District. To whoever stole my computer, I hope you like shit poems and pictures of my pimply face. To whoever might have stolen my computer, please disregard the history tab entirely, as it doesn't contain anything anyhow. To whoever might have stolen my computer, why'd you leave your cigarette on my front seat? That was a dick move even from you, dude. To whoever might have stolen my computer, you really hurt my fucking feelings. This one's called Alma on the M line. Alma is soul. The soul is visible in the commuter's shoes. The fine Italian leather with pointed toe belonging to a businessman. Clean white Jordans with barely a crease, indicative of youth and certain subcultures. Dull brown leather boots whose rubber soles have all but melted from stomping on the embers of a lit campfire. All black non-slip work shoes required for work at any restaurant. Old man orthopedics that might help manage the pain in his hip. Plaid platform Doc Martens to increase height and visibility. I eat these souls on display. And this last piece is a more personal piece about my late father, who passed away 1 year ago last month. His name was Jose Luis Fernandez. That's where I get my middle name. This is called The Gospel According to Quentin Tarantino. Our father was the kind of person to flag down a waiter, look at his plate that had been licked clean and say, "As you can see, I did not enjoy my meal whatsoever," with a big dumb smile plastered across his permanent 5 o'clock shadow. The waiter, tired of this shit, often would not smile back, and who can blame the poor man, subjected to what must be an existence of non-stop dad jokes coming from a million fathers who say corny things in a vain attempt to amuse anyone, anywhere. Our father was the kind of man who enjoyed eating ceviche while he looked out over the darkened Pacific while a lightning storm sent hundreds of bolts dancing across the black waters, where even their reflections burned our retinas. He was the kind of guy to sport a thin gold chain with a pendant to match, the latter of which was embossed with the Virgin Mary on one side and his name on the other. It sat in the thick shrubbery of his chest hair, half hidden until it caught the reflection of the setting sun over the Gulf of Papagayo near the border to Nicaragua. Your life changes in the bathroom, as if you were a Quentin Tarantino character in Pulp Fiction. Except unlike them, you are not suddenly riddled with bullets. Instead, you answer the cell phone. Hello, it is your brother. And he says something you can't quite believe because, well, it's rather unbelievable. What? You ask, half sure you've misheard. But you have not. You meet the gaze of a stranger in the reflection of the mirror, who calmly takes the keys out of your pocket and drives to your father's house, where a squad car is parked out front. And so time passes, and you lay in the sun, and it feels like warm nothing, and that is good for the moment, because warm nothing is better than cold nothing. You lay in the sun for what seems like months. You become part of the astroturf, part plastic. And then you are me. Our father was a religious man, unlike myself, who believed in a specific sort of hocus pocus. We were raised Catholic, dragged out to church in shiny black shoes and slacks and a button down and a clip-on tie. He donated to the church. I always thought we might better use that money to go to dinner later, extracting a few dollars from his wallet and dividing them between his 3 children. The urge to pocket the money was great. The Lord's house seemed much better furnished than my own. What did his dead ass need a $5 for? Surely the Lord would understand if I pocketed the money to buy Hot Wheels at the Toys R Us. Our father was a music man, not to say he was any good at it. His baritone bass in the church choir. He sung in the shower, he sung in the car. He sung at night and the neighbors would call the cops on us. He sung at the most annoying moments and at the most endearing. He sung us to sleep in sweet Spanish and woke us up with Johnny Cash. And the bathroom beckons, its door ajar, its mirror reflecting a stranger I've begun to recognize as a new version of myself. One whose smile lines are as pronounced as the half moons under my eyes. I do what I can to avoid the bathroom and Quentin Tarantino's film tropes at all costs. When I must piss, I go around the side of the house and I piss against the neighbor's fence. When I must shit, I go to Safeway down the street. When I brush my teeth, emphasis on when, I grab my toothbrush and toothpaste and brush them in the kitchen sink. Luckily, showers are not part of the problem. If you turn the heat up enough to make your skin red, steam obscures the mirror and the stranger from view, and the bathroom is simply a bathroom. And yet, hello? Still echoes off the chipped white tiles as what grows in the moldy grout between them. You scrub the soap scum from the non-slip surface of the bathtub with foaming bleach as the conversation plays in your head like a skipping record. Our father was a tech man. He had his gadgets over the years. BlackBerry, iPhone, Apple Watch, projector. He loved radios and Star Trek and the Beatles and his home country of Costa Rica. He was a small man with big eyebrows that often shot up his forehead in exaggerated fashions. He had a slightly caramel brown complexion when exposed to the sun, though he spent so long looking at the glow of his computer that by the time he died, he was as pasty pale white as I am. He had a full head of neatly cropped black hair that had just begun to sprout grays and thinly framed rectangular glasses. He had a salt and pepper 5 o'clock shadow and a friendly, fat-lipped smile. He was not young, but he was not old. Our father sat in lawn chairs that had the stuffing torn from their bodies by angry squirrels. He set up a drip watering system for the roses in the backyard, which would then blossom with brilliant reds, yellows, whites, and pinks, over which bumblebees floated in search of sweet nectar. Our father was the kind of guy who would ride 14 miles a day on his mountain bike and stop to talk to people along the way because that's the way they do it in Costa Rica. He was the kind of man who didn't want a dog, but when we got a dog, he loved the dog more than anybody else, and the dog became his dog. He was the kind of guy who'd switch to Spanish to accentuate the conversation, be it negative or positive, the connotation. He was the kind of guy to sing Frank Sinatra, Electric Light Orchestra, and Luis Miguel back to back to back as we drove down Highway 1 looking for the unpopulated areas along the super blooms of Highway 1.
Hey, y'all give it up for Adrian. That was beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. Next, coming to the stage, we got Tanya O.